Hey everyone, this video is part 2 of all of my favorite things, and in this video I'm going to be talking about all of the writing utensils that I've been enjoying for 2020 and the ephemera that I've been using in my journal. So part 1 will be linked below, and in that video I talked all about the bags and cases that I liked and my favorite journal and planner. So let's get started here. I'm going to get these two out of the way because they're not as exciting. So I still have my Uniball Signo RT1. I've been using this for years, I feel like at this point, but this ink is archival, waterproof, fraud-proof, everything. So I will use this pen and this ink whenever I'm writing in any memory keepers and just important stuff, important documentation that I don't want to lose. And I really love how sleek this body is. So I've continued to use that. But the new thing this year was the Uniball One. The ink in here is completely different than this, but I love the look of this pen body as well. And the addition of this metal clip I think is just so sleek. So I really loved it. I was though disappointed in the ink here because it is not waterproof, but it is the blackest ink, and it has such an amazing feel when I write with it. So I do enjoy it and I do use it. I use it in my planner actually because I'm not as worried about preserving that as much as journaling and like journaling to my kids and that kind of thing. And I'll show you the difference. I hope it'll capture. Okay, so you see here, the top, the Uniball Signo RT1, it has that kind of shine to it, but the Uniball One pen does not. And because of the shine on the Signo, it makes it appear, it doesn't look like it here, but it makes it appear in general as a little bit more faded, not as black as the One ink, which is kind of interesting. So I'm using both, and they're staple gel pens for me. Now, the rest of these things, let's go, I'm just gonna get these out of the way then. So these are vintage fountain pens, and I got my first vintage pens just this year, and these are all vintage flex nibs, and they're so amazing. I think these are all Waterman. These are all Waterman flex nib pens. I mean, they're like 100 years old a piece, I think. I think this one's from like 1910, but I bought them from all different places. I mainly like to purchase from Peyton Street Pens. I mean, I just cleaned and inked these up, but I used them to death. So these are completely empty right now. This one, gosh, it's so pretty. It's a lever fill, which are such interesting mechanisms. This one is empty as well. This one is actually an eyedropper filler. It has a little heart-shaped hole there for excellent flex. And then this is a super tiny lever fill Waterman in the olive ripple, and I love it. Yeah, these are just so much fun. They don't really hold a lot of ink except for this one because it's an eyedropper, so it's this whole entire barrel. So I will reach for these over any other pens, and gosh, once you try a flex nib, especially a vintage one, it just, you can't go back. It's just quite the experience, and I love the way that it makes my handwriting look without any effort. So these are my go-to fountain pens this year. And next up, I have these for hand lettering. So this was suggested by a viewer when I talked about hand lettering and how I just cannot find a brush tip pen that I can control. I don't know what it is. And somebody suggested these, and I love them. They're so easy for me to control, and I love the way my writing turns out with these. So other than these, the only other markers that I have found are these Crayola Supertips. I got these, gosh, years ago now, and I'm still using them. They're not an actual brush tip pen, but the way that they are, it makes for hand lettering really easy for me. Like I don't know what it is. The firmness of them really works for what I prefer. And then the other thing are these Karappo pens. So they have just the regular felt tip pen that you can write with. You know, there's nothing too special about it. But what's cool is you can take out this cord, it comes empty, and you stick it in whatever fountain pen ink you want, and you get to customize your color. These are made to be one-time use, but you can pull off this cap and take it out. I've done that, and refill it, and it works just fine. Because this is pretty thin plastic, you can tell that repeated refilling of this, it's probably gonna loosen up and it may not last very well, but I love the concept of this. And they also have one with a brush tip. So I was really, really curious about this. I filled this with ink, and I actually like this brush tip. It's reminiscent of a Tombow Funosuke, like the hard tip and the soft tip. I'm not sure which one it resembles more, but I can't stand those Tombow ones. I don't know how to manipulate them well, but for some reason, this one I really like. I was able to be fairly comfortable while using this. So for a smaller tipped brush pen, this has been the best one thus far that has worked for me. And I love that I get to customize the color and use my fountain pen inks in something other than my fountain pens. So I feel like these are almost a little gimmicky, but for some reason I just latched onto them and I really enjoy using them. So definitely recommend these if you're looking for something a little extra fun to use, and if you want to get more play out of your fountain pen inks. And I think I will just quickly talk about my favorite fountain pen ink that I've been using this year. I do not have a huge ink collection. I just don't find myself being so into inks. I really love getting tons of samples. I love sampling them more than collecting, you know, full-size bottles of them. But even with all the samples that I've gotten, and I've gotten a ton, I actually have a full-size bottle of this Diamine and Cult Pens collaboration of Robert Ink. This has been my favorite one this year thus far. As you can see, it is a purpley magenta type of ink, but it has a green sheen to it. There it is. And I find it so interesting. I love really dark jewel toned inks, or otherwise really like muddy olivey brown inks, which is really, it's such a difference. But I so enjoy this ink and I have been loving it all year. I just think it's so interesting and kind of mysterious, and that has been a go-to ink for me. I think I've always had a fountain pen all year that's been filled with that, which is saying something for me. So let's, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for all of the writing things that I have been enjoying this year. And I think I'm going to now end this video with the ephemera stuff that I have been really loving and has been kind of go-to stuff for me. All right, so these sticker books, I love these things. They're so much fun to use and they're so convenient. Even though they are pretty thick and bulky, these are just so nice to just keep in your stash and pull out, and then you have like a ton of options, especially the Antiquarian sticker book, because it varies so much from, I mean, this isn't a really good example since most of my stickers are gone, but you get such a variety of things to choose from that you can grab this and be set to decorate tons of pages at once. I really love it. And then recently, this one was released by DK, and I've been really enjoying this as well. It's all botanical stuff, and then you have these huge giant sticker panels, which I love these because if I want to take up some space and I want to have a really impactful page within my journal, I will definitely put one of these down. And I love florals and botanicals, man. So this is really right up my alley, and highly recommend both of these. I didn't mention this in either of the videos that I talked about these, but these stickers do have a border. They're not clear stickers, and they're going to have that border. So I know a lot of people aren't very fond of that, so I wanted to make sure I pointed that out because I did get a lot of questions. And in the Antiquarian book, the background, it's going to have it's going to have that same color border around the stickers. Some of them don't though, like that, but most of the time they do. All the stickers will tend to have a border, the color of the paper in the background. So just FYI. And they're not permanent, so they're re-stickable, they're removable, and you can take them off and adjust them if you need to. So I really love having these. Most often, I will just grab one of these books to use in my journaling because it is so quick. You know, if I don't want to spend a lot of time decorating, I grab these and just tear off a bunch of stickers and put them in, and I'm done. And I love that. The last thing that I have been really enjoying this year as far as decorating in my journal has been magazines. This is not a new concept at all, but holy moly, I have been absolutely loving putting full page spreads in my journal. There is just something about it that, I don't know, it's really comforting to me. I love when I flipped through that I get these breaks in writing and I just have these really beautiful images to look at. I love it. And so I have been on the hunt for magazines that have a lot of photos that I'm really attracted to. So when I go grocery shopping, I really love looking at the magazine section and seeing what I can find. And I recently found this one. I usually love Magnolia Journal. They tend to have really big full page spreads of images that I can harvest. And I found this one and I'm just kind of like mesmerized by all the things that I can cut out in here. And this is a really substantially sized book. And oh my goodness, so beautiful. Like, look at this, look at that. So I will do this. I just find images that I want. I'll rip out the whole page. And I actually have this, I don't know where I got this. It's just a giant plastic zipper holder. I think I got it from like Office Max or something. But when I tear out the images, I'll put them all in here. This is A4 sized, I think. So it's huge. And I keep this on me in my journal tote. And I can grab it, you know, pull out an image, cut it out, or just even tear it and then glue it into my journal. And I love this. And I will flip through the magazine that I might be interested in and make sure it has enough things to warrant the cost. But man, if you are on a budget and you want some beautiful ephemera to put into your journal or anywhere else, magazines are absolutely the way to go, and you get so much bang for your buck. I am all about this magazine. I've never seen it before, but holy moly, I'm gonna get so much use out of this. So anyway, that's the last thing. Definitely love my sticker books and magazines for my journal. I will have everything linked below as much as possible. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you again soon. Bye.